Run it up, the run it back. Run it up, the run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, the run it back.
Hello and happy Monday to everybody. Welcome to Run It Back. Yay, we're in studio. Lou, Will, Chandler P. Wow, I look very bright up against that. My name is Michelle Beadle, and I'm not going to be in a good mood today, guys. So you're going to have to just carry this bad boy for the next hour. Are you ready?
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, let me get my
Still, let me get organized.
tea. We're going to start with a game that I like to call horse poo-poo. San Antonio, Minnesota. Things are tied up at 2 apiece in this bad boy. Ant, my goodness, what can you say? His fourth quarter was amazing. Finishes with 36, 16 of those came in that fourth quarter. Nas Reed with 15, De'Aaron Fox got a little awake in this one when things went. Who's he talking to?
He's the absolute
crazy character. But we'll get to the win. What we're going to start with is the obvious here. It's the elbow to the face of Nas Reed by one Victor Wembanyama. They were trying to figure out whether or not it was a flagrant 1, flagrant 2. Well, it was flagrant 2, and he didn't know this, but that means you're out. And so they were down 36-34. This was with 8:39 left in the second quarter, man. It lit up the internet. It's funny because you could tell who was rooting for who based on the results and the reactions. But guys, no doubt on this call?
Well, yeah, no doubt. And look, I don't like how he kind of looks back, sees him, and then throws an obvious elbow. Again, I don't want this to get out of hand. He's not going to be tagged as a dirty player. It's his first strike. This was dirty, man. Like, this was obvious elbow. No doubt flagrant 2. And, like, again, I got no...
Can we agree this was intentional?
This was, bro,
Can we context it a little bit about how many times he'd been fouled before that?
He looked at him and elbowed him in the face.
Let's context. Let's background
Cut it out,
this.
B.
Dude, they were molesting him for 2.5 games.
Cut it out.
You sound like the bias.
Of course I am.
Dude,
I have
again,
to have the backs.
I don't think we're going to blow it out of proportion. I don't think he gets suspended for the next game, but this was an obvious dirty elbow to a dude's head. Like, you can't do this. And more importantly, you can't put yourself in this situation as Victor Wembanyama, as the engine of this team, to get yourself tossed out of a game. And now this.
Why do you think he did that?
And again, okay, well, control your emotions.
Reaction.
Control your emotions.
But what was the reaction to?
Beats.
Basketball?
But why aren't we calling everything then?
Because no one else reacts like this and elbows a guy. If I'll tell you this, if this was somebody else, Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, someone with priors.
I'm trying to hear this case that she's trying to make. What's the case?
On the play there, he's been fouled twice right before this even happened, and neither one of those were called.
If you're the best player, you're the best player on the team. He actually cost them this game. So so like
you have to.
We had to hold him accountable the same way that we hold guys accountable, whether they have a reputation for it or not. It was a dirty play, and it ended up costing them the game because they didn't have rim protection. They held up. Luke Cornett held it up as long as he could until that ran out. And then these guys started attacking the rim. He got to be able to control his emotions more, especially in a pivotal game where they can possibly go up 3-1, going back to their home court. Instead, they're going back tied up. Yeah. And now what is a pivotal 3-game series that they got to fight through, and they're uncertain whether he's even going to play in Game 5. Seeing if it's
Game 5.
Yeah, seeing if it's gonna be a suspension or not for him.
He's better. Just
but I don't think it warrants a
smoked if he gets suspended.
Yo, if they suspend him, then it's rigged. Then I run with that.
Should
he miss Game 5?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think I don't think he misses Game 5 for that play. It's not a basketball play. It was a dirty play, but I don't think it continues on past what happened already.
I think the idea that this is playoff basketball, it is physical. You say he's retaliating because he was getting fouled in the play.
He literally was fouled by Jaden McDaniels on the same play.
Maybe, but there's guys fouled every...
So if you got fouled by Jaden McDaniels on that play and you elbow Nas Reed...
Yeah, there's...
Oh, sorry, you're the one that's standing there.
Make it make sense.
Okay.
And
make it make sense that the refs call what they want.
I'll make it make sense for you. We gloat about how tall he is. You look down on a man and swung down to elbow somebody. You have to go out of your way to connect with somebody.
There's contact on every single play
in the
NBA. You can't just go and throw an obvious elbow like this. I know you love them. I know you love the Spurs. You can't do this. And more importantly, you have to control your emotions to not have this happen, to leave your team out to dry. At the end
Especially
of the day,
for somebody we give so much credit to for being level-headed and for being mature for their age.
That goes to show you how much he'd had it.
He's unbelievable. He is wise.
I like how you're riding for him, but it ain't working.
He is very wise. I like his approach. I like his mental. He had a weak moment here that Lou's right. He cost his team this game. He is too valuable. His impact just being out there alone, let alone his impact on the defensive end, the way he scores the basketball. Think about what he did game 3 offensively with 39. Like, he can't do things like this in such a critical moment, in a critical series, against a team, by the way, that is scrappy and that is not going away.
Hella physical.
You can't put yourself in this situation to do it. I hope he doesn't get suspended game 5 because it's a hell of a series. And I don't think it was that. Again, he's got no priors. He's got no history of doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't want him out game 5.
do not suspend him game 5. This series is the best
do it.
series, pretty much the only good series we got left. Like,
I'll tell you what, there's hate now. Now there's hate.
you can't do that.
Now it's a rivalry.
But this was a very dirty play by a great player.
This is why you need a goon on the team. The Spurs need a goon because they need a guy that goes out there and does that.
You don't
thing.
really need a goon. I don't think Minnesota is even playing a bad brand of basketball. I think they're playing physical.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
they're being aggressive. I think that it's also playoff basketball. Nobody's going out of their way to do anything to Wemby or anybody else on the San Antonio Spurs to take this out of the context of playing basketball. Everything that I see from both teams are basketball related up until this elbow. Other than that, I think we've played a pretty good series of decent basketball. We hadn't had a lot of trash talk, haven't had a lot of mix-ups.
Now it's gonna get.
Now
good.
it's on?
Game
Like
5
Donkey
is
Kong?
going to be. I should just fly
But
home for that.
even an elbow. You didn't see anybody really react on Minnesota in a way where they wanted to have a problem or.
It's a great point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised Jay McDaniels didn't
Because he just got away with a foul.
push him after.
What, are you going to push it?
Because I don't think that's the way that the series was going. It wasn't going in a way where anybody was going out of their way to be ultra aggressive with Wemby.
Well,
now,
now.
were they making it difficult for him? They supposed to. Were they being physical with him? They're supposed to. All of these are playoff basketball. So in those moments, he got to be strong enough to be able to maneuver what's what in that situation, especially when you turn, you look down on a guy, you seek him out, and you elbow him. It was just a bonehead play. It cost him a game. And now the series is interesting. So he got to deal with the reality of that as well.
Playoff basketball is physicality. It's hard box outs. It's hand checking. It's chucking guys on a pick and roll. It's not that. And so that's where I think he's got to learn from this. He's got to be better from this. Just look no further than Dylan Harper's reaction in the background when he
So
does
good.
it. Like, his own teammate was astonished. Like,
No.
like,
Yeah.
come on, you
Like
can't.
he said, "Damn, that's game 4."
And you're
Yes, I
arguing
am.
for
Yeah,
this.
can I also say this? In slow-mo, it looks way worse than it did in real time.
Everything looks.
Stop.
Still looks
I
bad.
told you
Can
that
we be
last
more
week,
dramatic?
Bees. Everything looks worse in slow-mo.
Please, and let's not act like Nasri didn't add a little extra.
He didn't
oof.
add nothing.
He
He didn't
added.
add.
That's a grown-ass
Honestly,
man. He
like,
falls like that.
B,
Please stop.
you know why I respect you so much, B? For keeping it real. Today, you are not keeping it real.
I am 100% keeping
But
it real
also,
today.
like you said, like, I'm surprised this didn't trickle into something else.
To
Like,
something
if
else.
Minnesota, like Rudy Gobert, those other
What
guys.
is
that were,
Rudy
I am just
Gobert
saying,
gonna
if my
do?
guy gets
You
elbowed
got
like
an
that,
elbow
you
just
would,
like everybody else, eye for an eye.
you would think someone would step up to this. I think it was a weak moment.
They didn't
for
do
him.
anything because they'd been getting away with stuff to begin with. Why would they
haven't been
push it?
intentionally elbowing people in the face?
Please stop it. Oh, you know what? The game 5. Just know, game 5 is going to be awesome, loud, and he
better
better
just
not
hope he doesn't get suspended.
I will riot. I will lead the riots through the streets. The game itself. Look, Spurs were in this one, and we know they can win games without Wemby.
Spurs
They did
actually
it this
shot more
season.
free throws last night, but I'm listening.
Yeah, because they didn't. Okay, 94-86 is what the Spurs were up with 8:51 left in the fourth. So there was a moment of hope and a glimmer of, all right, we
Yeah.
can do this. But then it looked like they sort of let go of the rope, Lou.
Yeah, I think they held on as long as they could. Like I said earlier, a second ago, I think Luke Cornett played a great game for the position that he was in. But that rim protection, them some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Those some huge shoes to fill. We're talking about the defensive player of the year going out of the game and somebody that literally alters every possession down the floor for a team when they're trying to score the basketball. When he goes out, that opens up some lanes. What I think happened is, once Wemby went out, I think Minnesota in that third quarter, they came out at halftime, and everybody tried to be the hero. Everybody tried to be the guy to go out and beat the San Antonio Spurs because Wemby wasn't on the floor. So the ball got sticky a little bit. They started playing a lot of one-on-one basketball, and they probably had one of their worst quarters that they had in the postseason. I believe at one point they were 2 for 20 from the field. and the ball was sticky, no assist there. And then in the fourth quarter, I think they adjusted back to their game plan, and they became a team that got downhill, played in the paint, and took advantage of Wemby not being there to rim protect. And that was the difference in this game. I think San Antonio had a golden opportunity in that third to kind of give themselves a little bumper in the score where they can kind of get some leeway. But Minnesota never went out of that 6 to 8 point range, and they were able just to stay in this game by free throws, by being fouled. San Antonio was fouling a lot, so they were able to get
Minnesota
to
Minnesota wasn't the only team.
they weren't the only team, but Minnesota was able to get to the free throw line, and that opens up lanes for Anthony Edwards. He's too dangerous to not have anybody to protect the rim right there. Then now Julius Randle, somebody that's been criticized in this past for being a bull in a china shop. That was his golden opportunity to be able to go out and play that brand of basketball and create fouls and opportunities to get to the free throw line. And I think those were the adjustments that they made and eventually end up beating San Antonio.
Yeah, it just seems like when Wemby went out, they got bright-eyed and they said, okay, this is an opportunity right now, even up the series. They were missing their key guy. And like Lou just said, Julius Randle was then able to go ISO and do his spinning downhill, not knowing that Wemby's not coming weak side to try and block the shot. At the end of the game, Ayo gets downhill to the rim for the and one. That doesn't happen if Wemby's on the floor. So this completely changed the way they played. They played differently even when Wemby subs out of the game and they put in the Cornet or they go small with a Harrison Barnes type guy, on Champagne. They go small and they just attack the rim. They did this for the last 30 whatever minutes because Wemby was not there to provide that shot blocking at the rim. So this is a huge, huge adjustment that they made in game. And in the fourth quarter, the Spurs just struggled. Fox was inefficient. Castle was inefficient. Vassell was 1 for 3. Like, these guys just didn't make shots coming the stretch, and Ant-Man went nuts.
Yeah, Ant-Man did go nuts. The 16 points that he had in the fourth quarter are pretty legit. Remember, he still got 2 bad knees that he's doing that on.
They looked better last night, though.
I was going to say, I wonder.
What's he doing?
Who? Well, obviously SGA, but who would you take over him here? And a double concern though, he played a lot. Do we have any concerns about how he's feeling as we go into Game 5? Because I don't know, those knees got to be feeling weird.
This is playoffs. You leave it all out there. You have a chance right now to tie up this series. Now it's a 3-game series and possibility with no Wemby. And even if he is in the game, it doesn't change anything the way they're doing. They beat them with Wemby. They beat him now without Wemby. This is a great opportunity. And we've talked about this Minnesota team in this playoffs. They're so scrappy. They never give up. It's always the next guy. Ayo has stepped up huge. Mike Conley's filled in great. Ant has, when he's banged up. Julius Randle was great. Rudy Gobert's had the best playoffs, arguably, of his career, just his impact on both sides of the ball. So Terrence Shannon has had his moment. So
didn't have a great night last night, but I like the fact that he remained aggressive. And Shannon Jr.
Shannon Jr.
Yeah,
that's what he's there. That's what he's there
3
for.
12 from the field, but the fact that he never lost confidence and he never wavered. See, sometimes with young players, if you can't make shots, that determines how you play. That determines your confidence, not being able to guard. He didn't allow that to deter him at all. He still made positive plays, even as inefficient as he was on the offensive end. He was a great ad. So
he had those 2 threes in a row where I was like, enough.
Yeah. See, but to shoot the ball the way that he was shooting and not being great at the field and to still have the confidence and to make back-to-back three-pointers when they needed them. That was a critical time and when they needed them. So that's good for them. Minnesota is in a great position right now, just as much as San Antonio is. Everybody is showing up to play. Both teams have depth. Now I'm curious to see how San Antonio responds in Game 5 on their floor. I expect Wemby to be back in that lineup. But you just allow Minnesota to get some momentum as well. So that's going to have to be something that you pay attention to.
And I don't know what Ant's doing, but he looked fresher. He looked like he had a more explosive.
Whatever he's dealing with, it looked like it's getting better instead of worse.
How is it getting better when he's playing on it?
He's healing.
They went straight varsity blues. And
there's got to be some good stuff happening.
But I'll tell you this, that one, I think it was Game 2, he looked a step slow. He didn't have that burst at the rim. Usually he's put on your head. He was kind of just laying it up, barely getting over the rim. Last night, he looked like himself. He looked explosive. Even just kind of his elevation on his mid-range, getting by the defender with his first step. Almost just he would never do that on Wemby.
I was about to say, I'll just say it. That's Luke Cornett in there. He doesn't have the pedigree that Wemby has. That if you see him in that lane, Your eyes light up if you're an athlete like an Anthony
That
Edwards.
was hilarious, by the way.
Head coach is so good.
How is that not a technical? That should be a technical. No, but you know what? The only thing he did do was he'd go back and get a little oxygen in the game. Did you notice that? And then he would come back out. I was like, so maybe that's the one thing that he's feeling. I just don't know how your knees get better.
I'm just saying, physically, he damn near looked 100%.
That's what I'm saying. The oxygen was the only giveaway that, like, maybe something's a little bit off.
And honestly, sometimes, Bees, when your body is going, when your adrenaline is running, that's
yeah.
probably the best time for you.
He's probably sore today.
Yeah, he's probably hurting today. Trust me. He's probably getting around-the-clock treatment. But when you're in that moment, when your adrenaline is rushing, you don't have any time to even worry about your knee. So sometimes when you're not thinking about an injury that you're dealing with, and you're just able to go out there and play freely, that's one of the best things that you can do when you're dealing with two bad knees.
Well, that's exactly.
Just go out and make positive plays. Yep.
By the way, this is a rivalry now, right? Like, I feel like last night's game cemented sort of an
I need like 2 more elbows
I don't.
to get it.
I need a couple more dust-ups. I need a game 7. I need them to...
Let me speak for everyone then. I will do that now. As a Spurs fan, I will represent. We now hate the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is 100% a rivalry.
Why? Because with the Wemby situation?
100%. This
You
is now,
hate them for him
and the
elbowing
refs,
them?
And the refs. Like, this, a whole thing. I'm just telling you that Game 5, Naz Reid will hear it.
I thought I knew San Antonio Spurs fans to be
No.
responsible.
What? No, what? We're fans. What are you talking about?
Oh,
I promise you, it's going to be...
You can't be mad at Minnesota because of this situation.
When Naz Reid touches the ball tomorrow, it will be chaos.
And
I 100% am here for it.
We're victim blaming.
No, I'm sorry.
He was a victim.
He embellished.
Oh, my gosh.
The pressure.
You sound like a crazy person.
No, I don't.
my gosh.
This is exactly
I can't
what
believe
we
we're
saw.
dealing with this today.
I can't believe I had to deal with this today. I wanted to call in sick.
So it's all good on the Spurs end. Wemby didn't do anything wrong.
No, he didn't.
Naz Reid should have got his face out the way.
This was probably a little bit extra, but not as much as y'all
back
said.
at him before. I feel like it could have been an accident.
He didn't look back. It's a normal head movement.
Fully on purpose.
Okay, this is like a Zapruder film. I'm going to sit here for the next 24 hours and do this. By the way, the pressure's all Spurs, right? Like, I don't think anyone's arguing that it's Minnesota's.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're the higher seed. They're the team that everyone wants to see match up against OKC in the Western Conference Finals. Like, that is the matchup that everyone's been waiting on, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have something to say about that. And again, this is a team that's been counted out. This team has been banged up with injuries, and they continue to prevail and play hard and defend. And so it's not going to be easy. And again, at least they have home court advantage in this 3-game series. They have to take care of Game 5. Wemby obviously needs to be in the lineup, and he needs to control his emotions.
Please.
But because his impact is undeniable there, and they're completely different.
I thought that was the whole point of going overseas. And
yeah, what happened in the monk training?
I thought that was
I'll
the
tell you
whole
what,
point.
I'm pretty low key, but if you poke the monster that many times, at some point I'm going to blow up.
Well, you poked the monster.
I'm having a hard time
for 2.5
finding the poke.
games.
How about this? Maybe it was the best move ever by Minnesota, because if he misses Game 5, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you think there's no rivalry or hate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying. What a brilliant play. If that gets him tossed for the next game, then the Minnesota Timberwolves won that battle.
Yeah, Naz Reid
Absolutely.
should thank his acting coach.
But to your point, the Spurs are under a lot of pressure.
So much pressure, by the way.
Yeah, because like Chandler just mentioned, the next 2 out of 3 games are on your home court. But you're playing a team that doesn't feel like they're the underdogs.
Nope.
Yeah. You're playing a confident team that feel like they can beat you. So to put yourself in a position where they're tied up 3 games, they feel like they can go out and get one of these. More than likely the next one, and getting back to their home court. So I'm so excited for this next game, because I think you're going to see the best effort from both of these teams. Both of these teams, with it being 2-2 now.
By the way, I think I just saw the Spurs are going to be favored by double digits in Game 5.
That's not accurate. Yeah. Well, not if bad news comes down. But bad news better not come down.
World?
We should take the
Even
show
with
to San
Wemby.
Antonio for tomorrow.
I think I'm all set.
I think I'm going to go ahead and go out there. We had a draft lottery. You wouldn't know it because it had funeral vibes inside. I have no idea what everybody was doing.
This was kind of exciting.
It was for us, but the people in the room nobody seemed happy to be there. But the Wizards did get the #1 pick, so that is the good news. Congrats. 5th #1 pick in franchise history. That's kind of amazing. First since John Wall, who was representing the team up on stage in 2010. They have Trae Young, Alex Sarr, Davis, George, and now they got a #1 pick. I'll start with you, Lou. Who should they draft?
I'll be honest with you. Maybe not a popular opinion, but I think you take a real look at Caleb Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, drawing so many different comparisons from some of the greatest players in the game, from the Tim Duncans to the Kevin Garnett's to the KDs. Like, he's getting a lot of different comparisons to the great players, and obviously we know AJ DeBonsa and his connections to Utah and them wanting him to be there. So them sitting that number 2 pick, if I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm doing everything I can to get the Washington Wizards on the phone and see how we can see this through and make sure we get our guy and make sure you get your guy. But if I'm the Washington Wizards, I'm playing hardball because I know how bad the Utah Jazz want AJ at that number 2 spot. So I'm playing hardball because I'm playing with house money now. I have an opportunity to go get a very talented player that can change the trajectory of my organization either way it go, whether it's going to be Caleb Wilson or Peterson or it's so many different guys in this draft that can change the organization. But everybody knows the elephant in the room is the Utah Jazz wants AJ DeBonsa. We all know that. So with Washington, I'm playing hardball. What you got for me? If you want him to still be available at number 2, what you got for me? But if I'm the Washington Wizards and I'm not going to get an AJ DeBonsa sweepstakes, I'm taking a serious look at Caleb Wilson. That's what I would personally do.
It's a unique draft because those top 3, top 4 guys, even exclude Boozer because we kind of know what he's going to be, but the star potential power with DeBonsa, Peterson, and Wilson, it's tough because you don't really know who's going to be the best player. There's no Cooper Flag. There's there's no Anthony Edwards. There's no for sure thing. I think the safest bet for the Wizards is taking AJ number 1 because you don't really want to take a risk with the number 1 pick if you're the Wizards right now. And Caleb Wilson, as good as he is, I remember hitting the chat during North Carolina's last game. The kid could be unbelievable, but that's a risk taking him with the number 1 pick. That's how you get fired if it doesn't pan out and work. So I think the ideal, the number 1 pick is AJ. Like Lou said, I know Ryan Smith and Utah, they love him. I don't know if they're going to work on a package to try and facilitate that, but I'm happy for the Wizards because this has been a kind of a horrible organization to call a spade a spade. They haven't had good luck. They haven't had many good years. And now at least they have this roster going forward with vet talent with Trae Young and Anthony Davis, who, again, I think that's another interesting piece where you could move him on, or you could, because he doesn't seem like he really wants to be there. But now you add AJ to the fold with Trey Johnson, they have talent. There's something to look forward to with this team. I think they got to go AJ unless they kind of make a trade or a move.
Well, I did hear Will Dawkins on with the guys this morning on NBA radio, and he was like, the good news is this is not a one-man race. This is not that kind of a draft.
Well, yeah,
and he was excited about it.
And there was reports too that you almost don't want the number 1 pick because it relieves some of the pressure of who you take. You know?
No, it was not. He sounded super excited. He said interviews start tomorrow. We're going to get to know all of these guys.
But even if number 2 now for Ryan Smith, it's like, all right, we got 2. Do we take Peterson?
Yeah,
do we take
legitimately
Wilson?
Got
do we take
5.
Boozer, who's kind of the safest pick?
I like the idea of Washington using that leverage and try to get some stuff out of Utah. I think that's the way to do
because you're gonna get the guy you want. And you also got an opportunity, maybe get another veteran guy or go get somebody else that can help you win games to kind of push this thing forward. So, again, Washington's in a great position because, like we just mentioned, AJ is sitting there at the number 1 spot. I can ruin Utah's plans. Everything that y'all have invested, I can throw that down the trash can, and we go start it up over here. Whether he like it or not, he'll get over that very fast. Once you get into practice, your first practice, I promise you, AJ, you don't care who drafted you. You ready to just play basketball and start your career.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure the familiarity of being at BYU and knowing that ownership and knowing the group, he would have loved for Utah. Would have been a no-brainer. Jazz, number 1 pick. Let's move on. Now there's some question. Now there's some.
Did you see his reaction?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's show the reaction.
You can react however you want, but again, how long you going?
Everyone in the room was like this.
Yeah, how long you
had
gonna
the same reaction. Ace Bailey did the same thing going to Utah, and he's.
Do we have the reaction? Let's.
No, we seen it. He was
I want to show it again.
Stone face.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's not the
stone face.
How is that the look of it?
Business as usual because the plan is off a little bit.
Control what you can control. You can't control
the plan is off a little bit. If the Utah Jazz got the number 1 pick, I'm sure he'll have a big smile on his face. There's been a lot invested over there to make sure he stays in that state in one capacity or another. Now that plan is off, I'm sure he has some thoughts. But again, once you get drafted, all of that is out the window.
Sure.
You're just excited to start your career.
And
even John Wall was like, it was just a weird.
Well, shout out to John. John Wall is having an amazing month for DC as a whole.
Why did he look so not happy?
But I will say this: either way,
business.
Washington or Utah, they're both going to be exponentially better next year than they were this year, right?
Okay.
And AJ, he knows John Wall. He has a relationship with Wale. He knows Trey John. Like he has relationships there. And they're going to be good. Like I said, they have talent now. They have Anthony Davis. They have Trae Young. They have Carrington. Like they have Kabalier.
Bilal Coulibaly.
He was like the untouchable guy 2 years ago. Now he's like coming off the bench. Like this team, they've made progress.
They got a lot of low numbers on that roster as far as.
And on the flip side, same
drafts
with Utah. Like now Utah can add a Darren Peterson or a Wilson to Markkanen and George and Jaren Jackson. Like both of these teams are in great position going to the draft.
So what you're telling me is we're going to actually see these two teams try next year?
They're not going to try and lose on purpose.
And
This
if
is
I'm Washington,
amazing.
while I got a little leverage with all of these young, talented former lottery picks and lottery picks on the way in, I'm trying to beef up with some veteran leadership, and I'm trying to get some real pieces around these guys to make it sustainable and make us a substantial basketball team. So if I'm trying to do that, I'm calling Utah, like, what you got? How much does it mean to you?
I like that idea.
I want to know how much
does it mean to
them.
you?
Is
Yeah.
it like is the pick in Ace Bailey worth that number one pick?
That's your
don't know.
man.
That's your dude.
That's your man. You
Find
tell
out.
us. How much does it mean to him?
Text him.
Honestly, I don't think it matters because I think those other guys, like again, Peterson could end up being the best player in the draft, no question.
Yeah.
Wilson, Cam
We've seen it
Boozer again.
before.
Sure, but that's not the plan.
It's not their guy. It's not the guy they wanted. They
had a dream.
wanted the number one pick, and
Yeah.
they were going to take AJ.
The
That
AD
guy-
of it all, by the way, there are some rumblings that maybe he doesn't want to be there. And now I'm wondering if you're AD and you see this roster and you see all these young guys, is that going to make you want to stay or actually make you want to leave more?
I'm kind of on the fence about it because if I'm Anthony Davis and I've won a championship, I want to be in a position where I feel like I can compete for another one right away, especially with me just getting traded from LA to Dallas, now to Washington. That's one side of it. The other side of it is being honest with yourself and where you are in your career. How much time do I have left? Do I want to become sort of this veteran leadership type of guy where I'm the head of the snake along with Trae Young and we bring these young guys along and see what we can do? Or do I kind of force my way out and say, hey, yeah, look, young guys, y'all got it. Y'all can figure this thing out. I only got X amount of years left. I'm trying to compete for championships. So I can see it both ways. I can't read his mind and I haven't seen him make a statement as of yet, but I'm kind of 50-50 where I am with AD and staying in Washington because I can see it in both sides.
Yeah, I agree. I think getting the number one pick helps. I think it gives them a chance to get the best player in the draft and the highest pick, obviously. But at least there's something to look forward to. At least they're going to be on a competitive team. They're not guaranteed to be contend for a championship. They're not even guaranteed the playoffs. Like again,
Nope.
I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be in that play-in situation regardless of what happens, just because of the jump they're going to make. But Anthony Davis hasn't been acting like he wants to be there. He hasn't said all the right things. Like Trae Young is all in, right? Trae Young is already following the guys in the draft. Like he's saying the right stuff to the media. Anthony Davis isn't, and I'm not knocking him for that. He's got no affiliation to this team or this city or this organization.
Where do you think he wants to be?
Well, he's playing chess.
Like what?
I don't know, but I'm just
chess,
saying there's worse situations to have to go to next season than this situation in Washington, which I haven't said ever.
Do you think AD's honest with himself? Like he's played 203 regular season games in the last 4 years, right? Do you think he is honest enough with himself or self-aware enough that people don't think you're going to play an entire season? They don't even think you're going to play
I would
60.
hope so. And that's what I mean. Like, he has to look in the mirror, look at everything that's going on in his career right now, and decide what's important and where he is realistically and what is his next step. Is my next step being on a championship team? Am I a focal point on a championship team? Or am I this veteran that I have a history of being injured and I can kind of see some of these guys along and we can accomplish some things on the way? Give Trae Young an opportunity to play with a legitimate all-star, somebody that's going to be in uniform for the Washington Wizards, that's going to give them a real opportunity to push this thing forward, if healthy. So it's a lot of questions to answer around Anthony Davis. Like you said, Bees, is he being honest with himself in those conversations? That remains to be seen because we haven't heard a lot from him yet. But I'm sure as the preseason turn up, as Summer League turn up, we'll start seeing it. If he shows up at Summer League to support the Washington Wizards and all of that, those are kind of little telltale signs when you know that a guy is dialed all the way in with their program.
You also have to know if you're him, the narrative is that you're going to be banged up, you're going to miss time. Same with like Joel Embiid, same with these guys. I went through it in my career where I was missing time. It was going to happen to the health of my knees. Like, he's got to be aware of that. And again, this is a situation where at least they have youth and they have young guys to pick up the slack, and he could be there from the jump of something special in this team. Now, if that means nothing to him, that's also fine. Maybe he wants to go to a contender or a better city or wherever he wants to be. But at this point of his career, I don't know if he has that capability of making that decision. I mean, I don't know what the value is, and I think he's kind of in a good spot right now in Washington.
So if
I
they
gotta
keep-
agree there too.
I think so
what
too.
more
It's not
do
a
you
lot of
want?
pressure on.
Like,
It's not a lot of
just go
pressure
and
on
play.
him. He could just go out and play.
And you do have young guys.
It's not
to
a
back
huge
up.
expectation level on him.
Mentor Sar and like mentor these young guys.
But at the end of the day,
I don't hate
he's
it.
been to the mountaintop. He's gotten a championship. If you got one, you want another one. And I don't think they get it in Washington right away. In the next few years that they're there, they can build towards that area. But it's some other situations that are already made for them already.
And here's the problem when you look at the East. I know we're always poo-poo on the East. Like,
Not anymore.
Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, Hawks, Raptors, Sixers, Hornets, Magic are all probably still better than this team.
Even with if AD plays next year.
Now
you got
again,
the-
they have at least they have a goal next year to get to the play-in, to get to the playoffs. Like they're playing for something as opposed to what they've been doing the last 5 years.
You don't think they could be better than any of those? I'm like
Philly's the
looking at
wild
list.
card. The only team that I honestly don't trust in that situation is Philly, just because the age and the health of PG
Yeah, I
and
don't
Joel.
get
But
started on Philly.
the East is not as bad as we thought.
No, not even close, Lou. Like I don't know. I'm looking at the top 9.
It's going to be some furniture moving, but I like an AD and Trae Young led team. What does it look like? We
about how
don't really
exciting
know.
the
But
Hornets
if you're looking around, the East, Pistons ain't going nowhere. Celtics, they got questions, but I still don't think they're going anywhere. The Knicks are trending up. Cavs, we'll see what they do in the offseason. I think the Hawks are trending up. The Raptors are trending up.
Hornets definitely trending up.
Hornets trending up.
Magic aren't even on that list.
They
Like,
got some
No, they're
questions.
there.
They
They're
got
at
some
8.
questions to be answered with their coaching change. And the 76ers with some personnel. You can put the Washington Wizards in that mix, but right now, just on paper, I can't put them even top 5 or top 6 at this moment on paper.
Okay, that's fair.
They're at least going to try to win.
Yeah.
That's also what Will
the key.
Dawkins said. At the deadline, this was the big sort of wah-wah of the day, the Pacers. Remember they got Zubats at the deadline? That was for a
Bad
top
beat.
4,
Brutal.
top 10 to 30 protected. They got 5th. So the Clippers were able to keep that, and they get nada. I don't know, man. They were sort of the big losers of the day.
This was one of the biggest losers ever. And I love the fact that Kevin Pritchard came out and he owned up to it and he took accountability and said, listen,
He did.
We swung for the fences. We lost. Like I took a risk. Regardless, we still needed a starting center, which Zoo is a great piece for them. And think about it. This is basically that same team that made a run to the finals without Miles Turner, but insert Zoo, and they lose Benedict Mathurin. Now, again, when you have this draft that's so top-heavy and they could have got a great pick, and if it was just 1 to 4 or 10 to
Man,
30,
what are
they
the
keep it,
odds?
and it fell to the worst possible situation
Right at
for them,
5.
and the best possible situation for the Clippers.
hurt.
Right
the Clippers,
at 5.
Listen, if you think it's rigged or whatever,
It's all rigged.
now, what, the Clippers get rewarded for everything they
Actually,
did last year?
well, but we don't know what's happening.
Stop.
There still
no
could
way
be something that comes out of the Clippers
But
thing.
this was a bad beat, and again, this it kind of serves them right because they purposely tried to lose and they tanked all year long. So I'm kind of glad they didn't get rewarded, but also this sucks. And this was a team that you put a top 4 pick on, that existing team with Tyrese Halliburton back, with Siakam, with
You
those
know he's
guys,
bummed.
with the same team that went to the finals with the top 4 pick. It would have been a dream, but man, what a nightmare.
5th, though?
But I do respect
It's the worst
fact,
possible outcome.
It's like laughable. It's so bad.
But I really respect the fact that the GM came out and owned it, and he got
yeah, we do.
he got ahead of that train before it
Kinda
left
smart.
the station. Very smart. Hey, listen, that one's on me. I thought we would do some luck. It didn't pan out. But remember, we needed this player. We needed this guy. So let's keep it all in perspective what we needed. And he got ahead of it. And that way you can still have the support of your community and your organization to move forward with you knowing that, hey, this is going to be our group moving forward. Ain't no help coming.
I wish people would learn from that,
Zoo,
right?
Zoo, you better be an all-star
Ain't no
next year.
help
'Cause
coming.
the only way
And
to
I-
help.
and poor
think he-
Tyrese is
I
coming
think
back
he has
like,
the
dang it.
potential to do so.
And by the way, remember those 10 teams we just named? We didn't name the Pacers.
That's
Oh,
a
that's-
fact.
They went
well,
to the finals
yeah,
last
because
year.
we just
That's a
went
fact.
off.
And they
how
got their best
finished.
player, All-NBA Tyrese Halliburton, coming back. So again,
Yeah, but you know he was hoping like, oh, I'm coming back and we got a new guy. And
Yeah, everybody want a little fresh energy, some new blood in
Yeah.
the building to push
Freshen it
things
up.
along. But the reality is he's going to have to be that fresh blood
Look
and energy.
at what
Yeah.
they traded for Zoo. I love me some Zoo, but good Lord.
the picks are.
Well, the picks. If we're talking players, I like Ben Mathurin. Isaiah Jackson is somebody that's going to figure it out. But Zubac is a player. Zubac is a hooper.
I mean,
better be.
Mathurin's a 20 ball, and the 5th pick is like Cam Boozer, bro. That's tough.
It was the law. They were the losers of the day.
It's tough.
More than the Sixers? I don't know.
It's a lot.
Like,
I love me some Zucci.
I like some Zucci, man.
But that is a.
He should feel real good about himself today.
And
Poor
again,
guy.
they needed a center anyways, but not at that clip. My
No,
God.
it's very, very expensive.
I agree with you.
We're going to come back and remember why we got duped by the Sixers once again.
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
Philly.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do me like that.
Knicks fans are still at my
Belt.
neck.
I can't stand it.
Run it up, run it back.
Knicks tape.
Thanks for nothing, Philly. Way to make this not interesting at all. A sweep for New York. A 144-114
Damn.
final in a closeout game. How you doing? Jalen Brunson, 22 and 6. Deuce had 25 points. He was 7 and 9 from 3. Cat was 17 and 10. Joel Embiid did have 24 points and 5 rebounds. New York, 25 of 44 on threes. I'll get all these in there. Philly was 8 of 35. New York tied the record for most threes in a playoff game in NBA history.
That'll do
Also,
it.
most points in franchise postseason
That will do it.
history. It was unwatchable, honestly. And Charles Barkley said the Knicks have been the second best team in this postseason, other than obviously OKC. And perhaps maybe we need to take them a little more seriously as far as having a parade at some point, Lou. Do we?
We should. Absolutely. I think the Knicks have been one of the best.
Really?
I think the Knicks have been one of the best teams in the postseason. If we're being honest, from whatever they were saying about, you distracted me.
Plus 700 for the Knicks? I know. I'm like, wait, I put $1 on that.
Yeah, I definitely would.
Why not?
But yeah, you gotta give.
Shut up, Chandler.
What is it? 700.
700.
Yeah, but you got to give credit where it's due, man. I thought New York Knicks, they played great in the first round. How they closed out Atlanta was a statement, and what they just did to Philadelphia was another statement. You got to give them credit where it's due. They're playing lights out, and they're getting it from every angle, from everybody. It looks like everybody's just bought. Yeah, that was crazy. My bad. But it looks like this is a team that's bought in to the mission, right? Like we were calling for Mike Brown to be fired a month ago, and here we are, and they're playing genius level basketball.
Well, he still might be. There's a lot left to do.
I mean, you'll be stupid to do so.
Golden State. That was
Yeah,
his only
you'll be
other
stupid
option.
to do so. He looks like he looks like the puppet master at this point with the strings that he's pulling. But Philly just didn't show up in this second round. I think they exerted too much energy with trying to get out of the first round against Boston, being down 3-1 and just never showing up to the fight against the New York Knicks. So this team is absolutely rolling. I'll probably say they might be the best team left in the postseason right now.
Damn.
With the Thunder included.
Whoa.
Based on what a 50-point win to close out in a game 7
Okay.
and a sweep in round 2.
Okay.
Like if this was the Thunder with those same stats, we'd have gave them the ring already.
I know, but OKC's about to sweep tonight. It's not like
Well, the Knicks did it first, so I'm gonna give them credit.
scheduling worked out
Knicks did it
better.
first.
I will say this: they're playing unbelievable basketball. They're
real.
getting more productive, and this is without OG, who's been their second best player in the postseason. Obviously, I don't think that's a long-term thing that he's out, but Bridges was great. McBride, Deuce was great. Like, they're getting production from their bench, which we haven't said in years from the New York Knicks. And I think the only reason that we were, or at least I was hesitant on the Knicks in their original series is the Atlanta Hawks were the hottest team in the NBA. They were playing such good basketball. I thought that could be a bad matchup for the Knicks, and they handled it. And obviously it was a tough series, but they got out of that. Philly against Boston just looked like the better team. They looked the more complete team, and then they just looked like a completely different team against the Knicks. And you have to give the Knicks credit. They exposed them. They took it at their weaknesses. They were more efficient. When you shoot the 3 ball like this, it's hard to lose games, and they just were dominant. Jalen Brunson was fantastic. Cat is playing with the sense of urgency that we've wanted him to play with all season long. So, again, are they a title contender? I still think the champs come out of the West, and probably going to be OKC. Spurs now are in a dogfight. I still think the Spurs are the second best team in the playoffs. But the Knicks, you can't overlook what they're doing and how they're playing. And when they're getting this production from their bench, and Jalen Brunson's efficient, and Cat is playing with a motor, Mikal Bridges is scoring the basketball now like he did in the first series. Like, they're a more complete, balanced team than they've ever been, and they look really, really good.
God, I hated watching these.
I want to go back. I want to go back to Mike Brown and coaching. You got to give New York credit because their game plan was ironclad. Their plan was, we're going to make Kelly Oubre beat us. We're going to throw 2 guys at Maxey. We're going to throw 2 guys at Embiid. We're going to rotate off of everybody. We're going to leave Kelly Oubre open. And for a while, he made him pay. The game before last, he had 20-plus points. He was making him play from the 3. But if that's the guy that's going to have to beat you on the offensive end, if I'm New York, I feel really good about that and keeping the ball out of Tyrese Maxey and Embiid's hands. And then you come back in that next game, you have some success with that, and you go do it again, and you get another big 30-point win to move on to the next round. So you got to give credit where it's due. The New York Knicks played lights out, but you got to give credit to Mike Brown as well for having a great game.
And this is fantastic that they get to rest and have time off while OG heals, and now they'll be probably whole by the time this Detroit-Cleveland series finishes up. This is a perfect timing for them to handle their business, not take their foot off the gas, and get Philly up out of there.
The Philly thing, by the way, is it weird that the one close game was the one that Joel Embiid didn't play in? Like, it just felt like it was a completely different situation? Because this did not look like even close to what we watched play Boston.
It was just it was tough to have him in and out of the lineup, round one and round two, because you are dealing with a runaway train in the New York Knicks. They were rolling. Like, if you win a Game 7 by 50-plus points, my confidence is sky high. And so now I feel good about my game plan. I feel good about how we're playing as a team. We're confident. We're ready to roll. We're motivated. And for Philly to not kind of have any consistency in what they were doing, no stability is a better word for that. They didn't have the stability and ever have an opportunity to really be a part of this series in a real competitive way. In New York Knicks, they took full advantage of it. So I wouldn't say that it was weird that the close game was the one that Joel Embiid was out. It's just tough to play that way when you don't have stability and you're looking down the barrel at a team that's ready to roll against any team.
Yeah, it's such a rhythm game, right? Especially in the playoffs. So when you don't know your rotations, your substitutions, you don't know, your coverages on certain things, because they'll even defend differently with Joel in the game, right? Whether they're blitzing a pick and roll, if someone's going under, they kind of catered their entire offensive and defensive schemes towards one guy who's clearly not 100%. We don't know if he'll ever be 100%, but this guy is still a dominant force, so you always want him on the floor, because offensively they guard Philly differently too with him on the floor as opposed to a Bona or a Drummond. Like, the whole game plan from the other team from New York changes with him not on the floor. So again, it's different. I'm not blaming Joel for this. Like, I thought he had a great season. What's interesting to me is, like, I don't want to put you on the spot, like, how many games do you think he played this year?
30.
Yeah, he played 38 games. I thought he played like 60. Like,
why would you think he played?
I don't know. I thought he was more available. I thought and again, he averaged 27, 8, and 4.
Yeah.
Like, he had an unbelievable season when he played. And again,
that's the stability piece. You had Paul George go out for an extended period of time.
He missed 25 with the suspension. So, like, this is what I'm talking about with Anthony Davis. Like, you just kind of factor in the time missed.
Bruh.
You got to factor in time missed for Joel.
But why? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to pay somebody $55 million and then factor in that you're not available?
They did that.
But they did that, and this is my argument every time. And they're about to do it again with a couple.
Well, you can't knock him for signing the contract.
I'm not knocking him. I'm knocking front offices. They're about to do it.
When he's on the floor, he's worth it.
When he's on the floor, 38 games?
That's a big win.
That's brutal.
That's a big win. But again, we've been dealing with this for a couple seasons now with Joel Embiid. Remember how we flubbed last season with the Sixers when he came out and said he was on load management before the season even started. So this season, we didn't hear any of that stuff. He played in the games that he was available in, and he was pretty good. Give him credit. But again, when we start talking about stability and talking about teams gearing up for a postseason run, and then you get into it, when you have Boston that first round, and you go down 3-1, and you got to fight like hell to get there, and then you do it. You know how much emotion and energy that you exert trying to get there. And then you just got another team that's equally as good sitting there waiting for you. And I just think because of that, they just never was able to get into this series.
Well, here's what really grinded my gears over the weekend.
Grinded it?
I thought, Philly, you were a serious sports town. It turns out you're not. You're a sham. You're a fraud. And here's Tyrese Maxey talking about all the Knicks fans. No, I'm going to say it. Go ahead. Show, Tyrese. Speak.
But we got to put a stop to it as a team. Like, winning these games, that's what's going to make, our fans, like, louder than theirs or whatever. I don't know how to keep them out. I don't know the logistics of it. But, it does suck. I can't even lie.
No, I'm with him.
He's not wrong.
So loud for Knicks fans in there.
No. Y'all got to listen to me on this one.
Stop.
7 years in Philadelphia. If you don't compete, I'm for sure selling these tickets to somebody else that wanna come in here if you don't compete. So what Tyrese Maxey said is right. Knowing your team, knowing your city. You know San Antonio, you know what's gonna fly and what ain't gonna fly. With the way that this team was playing, blowouts and all of that, when you get down 3-0 and all, listen, the fans, I don't care about the floor seats and I'm selling these tickets. So to his
Brutal.
point, in Philadelphia, you got to win those games. You got to compete at a high level. This respect is going to go both ways. This support is going to go both ways. Make it worth my while to take the time and take the energy to come down here to support you guys. That's just the way that town gets down. So I didn't love it. I didn't love the fact that New York was so loud in there. But at that point, your team is already down 3-0. I hate the look, but I'm telling you about how the town
That's how
works.
it goes. Like, there's always going to be Knicks, Celtics, Lakers, and Warriors fans on the
Always.
like always. And again, it is the players on the 76ers' job to win the fans over respect, and you have to win big games and you have to compete for championships. They did not do that this year. I don't care if it was the Orlando Magic right now sweeping them. The Philly fans would be booing them on their home court. So I think it's more about them. Yeah, the Knicks fans travel, they're everywhere. But even if this was another if this was Atlanta sweeping them, those Philly fans would still be booing them.
But there are
to the
arenas
locker
where
room.
this would never happen. Like the reverse of this wouldn't be
you
true.
deal with.
The Garden wouldn't be all
Every
Philly.
team I ever played on, if I was playing one of those four teams, the Celtics, Lakers,
For sure. No, Lakers for sure.
The fans were
Always.
They were there.
But not like this was crazy.
It's also close to Philly. Like, it's easy. Like, it's.
Oh, I know. I'm just embarrassed for Philly. I'm embarrassed for you as a sports town, and you're
Well,
on a
don't get
3-year
swept, and maybe
hiatus.
they won't. They'll cheer harder.
Oh, let's keep the good news up for Philly, because Joel Embiid also after this one said the season was a success because he came into the season not knowing if he was going to be able to play because of his knee, but now it feels like they figured it out. This is not
I'll
going
say
over
this.
well,
I know where
Chandler.
he's coming from. I thought he was.
I'll let you speak to this one.
I thought he was leading towards retirement. Like, I honestly did. I thought he was
maybe
going to
still
shut
is.
it down. I thought he was not going to be able to play. The knee surgeries, the injuries he's had and he deals with are severe, and I am shocked that he even played 38 games and averaged 27, 8, and 4 in 32 minutes. Again, it's not a lot of games, but the fact that how he looked last year and how we viewed him and the way he was moving last year to how he moved this year, I think was an individual success. Coming back down from 3-1 with the big bad Celtics was a success. Now, do you want your season to end getting swept by the New York Knicks? No, and I think big picture, obviously, that's not what he meant as a success.
I mean,
I think he's talking about solely his knee.
I mean, individually, where I felt last year to where I feel right now, being able to finish a season was a success.
But I wonder what does he mean by we have it figured out now?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if
that
that's
you
the-
lost by 40? What did you
Well,
figure
no,
out?
I
think he
think
means
this whole
individually.
conversation is about his knee.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm saying, what did you figure out as a team?
That's what I'm asking.
Because as a team, you lost by
No,
40.
Listen
I
to
think
me.
it's just figuring out-
I think
You think
I
he's-
think we're
He's
both
only
talking about his knee.
So
knees,
you
his
think
health.
that when he says, I think we figured out, they figured out your knee?
Yeah,
That's what I think.
We figured out a way for
You
me to
can't. He
play at
can't
least
possibly
38
say
games.
they figured it out after getting
That's
swept.
not figuring anything out, playing 38 games.
I'm just saying, I think that's what
I could figure your knee out for 38 games.
That's what he's not these knees. I
could.
I think he's just insinuating that we figured out a way for me to be on the floor. Whether that's 20 games, 30 games, 50 games, I'm going to be available to a certain point.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, and now is that a success?
He can't possibly think that after getting swept that we figured it out.
that's-
Like, give us another 4 games to play the Knicks, so we'll figure it out. I don't think he's saying
Like,
that.
I'm telling you,
I think he's talking about his knee.
I think he was
That's even
going
crazier.
towards retirement, and he ended up still averaging 28, 8, and 4. Like, I think that's what
I
he
think
meant
Embiid knows
individually
better.
and health-wise. Now, 3 years left, 192 million about to kick in. That's where it gets tough.
He also said he's not sure if he's still going to be in Philly. I'm sorry. Who's trading?
That's fair.
Well, that money's guaranteed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find a trade partner.
Right, who's doing
And
that?
Paul George is a player option for 54
Oh, for the love of
Man, I'm
everything
signing
holy.
in.
yesterday.
Yesterday. Make it Friday.
Yeah.
I'm locked in, twin.
I know, right? Where's
Let's
he-
run it back. If I'm PG,
thanks.
let's run it
I
back.
might not leave the facility until the season starts next year.
Well, do you think they run it back as
But-
like?
Well, I think
keep
they
it-
have to. What are their options? They're like, again, I
know.
love Joel and I love
There you
Paul
go.
George. Their value is extremely low. They have a dynamic backcourt. They have some pieces. Again, they are locked into those 2 deals unless they can dump off one of those contracts to a Sacramento for a
Why are you
swap,
doing that
like-
to Sacramento?
Because
Stop.
they would do it.
They should not do.
I'm
it.
just saying, unless you find a team like that that's a bad team, that's not trying to win, to take on these contracts. Because again, those 2 guys, those are elite Hall of Fame players that when they're healthy, they're good. It's just
When
a
they're
big
healthy.
win. Like it's a big.
I can't. I'm gonna get "when they're healthy" tattooed somewhere on me. That's a ridiculous phrase we keep.
It's
saying.
just crazy.
I don't
3
think
years,
they-
192 left is
I don't think they run it back as this team is constructed. I think now it's very clear that this is a Tyrese Maxey-led team, but logic tells me they're not going to be able to get rid of this contract, especially if you can't keep Joel Embiid on the floor more than 38 games. If you're going to sign up for that,
they figured it out.
Yeah, I'm going to want 50 to 55, even upwards of 60 games out of this if they figured it out. So I think he did a great job in controlling the narrative, controlling the message when it comes to his knee going into an off season where he doesn't know what the future holds. So great job in doing that. But I don't think they run it back as constructed if they can find a trade partner.
Unfortunately, this always happens.
Logic tells me different.
Unfortunately, this always happens with a lot of players towards the end of their career, and there's always those conversations of a buyout, of getting the contract stretched, or something like that. And again, that's going to have to be a conversation that they have internally and individually. But it's a tough team-friendly contract because that is a lot of money from a guy that you just don't know how many games he's going to play. We know how great he is when he's healthy. He's just not really healthy, and he's not getting younger. So that is the problem for them. Now, as far as Joel, you couldn't be more stoked. That contract is guaranteed. You were getting paid. Like, you can't fault him at all for that. And I know he wants to be healthy. The things that he's dealing with physically, most guys wouldn't even play 38 games. I'll leave it at that.
Well, there you go. Way to put it in perspective, Chandler, because I've never dealt with something like that. I had a clean ACL tear, and I was able to continue on my career. That's something that you've battled with through and through. So for him to be able to play the 38 games with us not even expecting that much out of him, I understand where he's coming from if he feels like that's a success.
38 is wild. Tony Jones, Athletic, reporting that they're going to evaluate the jobs of both Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse. Also in that same report, there's a little bit about Embiid wasn't happy that they traded away Jared McCain. So I'm wondering, Chandler, if they're going to make some moves with any of these names I just said, what do you think happens?
I didn't love the Jared McCain trade either. That didn't really make sense to me. This guy that was running away with Rookie of the Year, his rookie year until he got hurt. Again, it's what can you do with those two contracts? We know they're good when they're healthy. They're not healthy, and they're going to miss time, and they're not getting younger. So again, I think they have the foundation pieces of Maxey and VJ. Those are great two guards to build around. Those are the current and the future pieces. But again, Daryl Morey, he did give him this extension. He did do these contracts.
Yeah, but word on the street is, just a little side note, that wasn't a Morey thing. That was a Josh Harris thing.
When you get swept,
maybe
everybody gets evaluated.
Yeah, like you just got your
I
ass
agree with
kicked.
that. And not just swept, by the way.
When you get swept and you get dominated,
violently beaten,
everybody gets evaluated. So it's no surprises there.
Dang.
I'm sure Nick Nurse is a quality coach and a man. I don't wish for him to be fired, but when you lose in this fashion, everybody is under the microscope and everybody is going to get looked at.
It's just funny to me, like, yeah, let's fire Nick Nurse and go hire like Thibodeau or Jamal Mosley, who just got fired for doing the same thing Nurse did. It's just a cesspool.
It's a recycling.
It is.
It's a recycling
It's
game.
ridiculous.
Guys, I got to get this important information in. FanDuel giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. Spreads, the player points, the threes, and more. You can build it all into one same-game parlay and go for more value. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com/same-game-parlay.
Nailed it.
Dashy dash dash is what I call
a lot
that.
of dashes.
You like that? Pistons, Cavs. Okay, so we got sweep in the OKC, yeah? What about the other game?
Give me Pistons.
Pistons.
Give me Pistons.
Go up
as well.
3-1.
Lisa, keep saying Thunder Lakers. We're telling you it's a sweep. I know you're a Lakers fan and you're mad
Do
right
the
now.
Lakers go down swinging? What is the spread in that game?
400 points.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter with this.
Are we in LA? This is in LA
Yeah,
tonight?
in LA.
Let's go down.
To the game?
Yeah.
Ugh. Can imagine.
Can we get some tickets, FanDuel?
We have another minute. Oh, good. Let's
You
talk
don't
more
want my
about it.
ticket plug.
Okay.
I keep telling you how they do me down there.
Wait, no, but
Do they go down swinging tonight at least? Like, do they make? Is there any
I hope
chance
so.
they win the game?
I would hope so.
Do they win the game?
well, how about, do
I
they make
don't
it
think
close?
so.
Do they make it? Because here's what they've done the last three. It's a very fun first half. Lakers fans have hope. They're up at the half. And then the fourth quarter comes along and it's an absolute blowout. So what do you think? Different?
I think it's a double-digit win.
OKC takes care of
but
business.
like 20 or like
Yeah,
10?
they too close to the fire not to finish it.
I know, they're going to sweep.
So when you're in this situation, you're down 14 with like 6 minutes to go, and you just see the sunshine, you see the summer coming around the corner. You
Unlace them Nikes,
Only
y'all.
Chandler.
You kind of.
By the way, that's not a champion
You
talking
kind
right
of pack it in. I will say this.
That is not okay.
If they're 10.5 favorites against the Lakers, that's like the same spread for the Spurs against the Timberwolves. What's going on here?
Also, how are they only 10.5? They've won by like 18,
Why is it
20
the same
points.
for them and for Minnesota and San Antonio?
don't
They feel
know
like they got to
anymore.
get one.
No.
That's probably what this is. The feeling. Well, why? The Knicks swept. So
We
why
shall
wouldn't
see.
the
I'd
Thunder
probably
sweep?
take OKC minus 10.5.
All right, it's actually up to 11.5.
Take it.
That just happened. All right, that's going to do it for us.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the games.
By the way, the money line probably.